You're a fraud, Sony! A fraud! I am gonna make Sony pay! And they are gonna pay! Sony didn't put me in Spider-Man No Way Home, one of the biggest Spider-Man movies of all time! It was a smart decision not to put Dane Dehaan's Green Goblin in Spider-Man No Way Home. It's all because he's ugly as frick!
Yes, I agree. It's all because he's so ugly, and there was nothing we could do about it, even with redesigns.
Out am I?
Oh, he came back! His ugliness has turned us into skeletons!
Hello, my dear.
Hey, look, it's Spider-Man! You were trying to save us from that ugly creature! Yep, guys, I gotta try to save New York City.
What the frick? What is that ugly thing? Can't you tell? I am the Green Goblin from TASM 2.
You're that Goblin? What are you doing here?
I came here all because I want revenge from Sony from not putting me in Spider-Man No Way Home.
While it does make sense why Sony won't put you in Spider-Man No Way Home, you're so ugly, man! And look! You terrified Mary Jane! She's never been terrified since Spider-Man 2! She have gotten over her screaming since Spider-Man 3! But now, because of your ugliness, you made everything worse! I can't even look at him anymore! He's so ugly! There, Mary Jane, another therapy session. Would this help you get over your screaming? And you even terrified my Aunt May! Evil! Or those horrible yellow teeth, and those ugly face, and everything looks ugly!
Spider-Man! I come to fight you! What the frick? Who is that ugly thing?
Well, it's your son from TASM 2 from another universe.
Wait, we're still doing multiverse again?
Sucks. Apparently he's the Green Goblin in a TASM movie universe.
How dare you mock the Goblin, son? You're ruining the Osborns. You could even make yourself green. We are the Green Goblins, for crying out loud. You always will be a failure to me, Harry. No matter what universe you're from. Dad, come on! I was trying to get revenge on Sony. Even when you're from a different universe, you still mock me. If you want Sony to accept you, get a better redesign next time.
Hello everyone, I am Sword Caliber 687, and today I gotta do my video on Dane Dehaan's Green Goblin from the Amazing Spider-Man series and try to improve him on the next Spider-Man movie. Before this video gets started, smash that like button and, subscribe. And also leave a comment below and also share the video you want to see more of my content. Anyway, let's get this video started. Let me get this out of the way and try to say I don't like Dane Dehaan's Green Goblin's design because it looks so ugly and disgusting. The reason why it looks so terrible is because the whole armor looks unfinished and his face looks disgusting. I think the whole point was the armor is supposed to be a prototype-like armor, but, it would probably be improved upon in the next sequel. But that never happened because the Amazing Spider-Man series got cancelled after the second one. There was even unfinished concept art of Dane Dehaan's Green Goblin that would have looked worse than it was in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I know there's a lot of makeup artists and costume designers that helped make this Goblin design and the costume and the whole look, but it wasn't really their fault. It was really Sony because they want to try to rush the costume and try to change the vision of the Green Goblin for their interpretation of Spider-Man. Imagine, guys, what would the Amazing Spider-Man 2 would be like if they had a better Goblin design? The armor looks half good, but it looks unfinished. If it looked finished and try to add some purple colorations to the armor, it would look good. And also make a lighter green. And also add a hat to Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin so it can look better. The hat, of course, should be the one from the comic books. You know, that pointy elf-like hat. With the movie hat of the Green Goblin, you should add some movie details so it can look cool. I made a Photoshop on what the look of Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin should be for the Amazing Spider-Man 3. This is what my Photoshop design looks like. I know, it's a shocker how Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin looks so great with this Photoshop. But a lot of you guys who saw my videos already seen this Photoshop. I would also like to see Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin has that laser gun like the Goblin has in the comic books, because it would be really cool to see. Now, I gotta get the ball rolling and talk about how to improve on Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin in Spider-Man sequels or the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin motivation should be trying to get revenge on Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and does whatever it takes to kill him. Harry has perfected the Goblin formula which turn his body more green, but he can just transform into the Goblin anytime he wants to, and he can just easily transform back to his normal form. Harry and the guy in the shadows would obviously create the Sinister Six that was hinted in the last Spider-Man movie. It would be cool for my idea if there were two leaders of the Sinister Six. One would be Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin, and another would be Dr. Octopus, because in the comic books, Dr. Octopus was the leader of the Sinister Six. Of course, the Sinister Six is obviously going to be the main villain in TASM 3, and they're not going to constantly try to change villains throughout the whole entire movie. And I try to say, like, Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin would try to kidnap Mary Jane, of course, in the Amazing Spider-Man 3, so he can lure out Peter Parker. For anybody that watched TASM 2, Harry already figured out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and that's why he's setting up this trap. Mary Jane is one of the characters that I want to have in the Amazing Spider-Man 3. It's all because she could be a really main important love interest to Peter Parker and try to make his relationship stable. Giving like Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin for my idea, like a right script to make him seem so menacing and sinister, could be really good for my idea, because he would try to use Mary Jane to his advantage for being like this completely evil person. Of course, he's not going to try to kill Mary Jane, but to lure Peter Parker to a trap. Spider-Man does fight the Sinister Six, of course, but the battle is not going to be about trying to beat the Sinister Six. The battle is going to be about trying to save Mary Jane, and of course, Spider-Man loses trying to save Mary Jane. Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. You saw my Amazing Spider-Man 3 Black Suits video. I'm going to retell this idea I told during that video. Yeah, of course, I try to say Spider-Man for that idea in that video has the black suit. And the black suit can just tie in with Peter's hatred for the Sinister Six and Harry. I would try to say the Sinister Six does have a plan to lure out Spider-Man so they can beat him this time, so they won't let him escape. And of course, Harry Osborn, being the childhood friend of Peter Parker, knows that he has Aunt May. And of course, he kidnaps Aunt May and injures her when Spider-Man tried to fight against the Sinister Six the second time. With the idea I had, it's trying to show a hatred between both characters, Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I would like Sony to show how much Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's relationship has fallen to the point of they both try to kill each other. Spider-Man, of course, doesn't really kill Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin, but he tried to stop himself from not trying to be overrun with hatred by the symbiote. And, you know, he doesn't want to kill his best friend. Maybe the movie will end when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man doesn't really try to kill Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin, but the symbiote force him to kill Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin. or something happens during the final battle that causes him to die. But Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man blames himself for Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin's death. If Sony doesn't want to adapt that idea for what I have for the Amazing Spider-Man 3 for the black suit, one of my ideas how I could tie in with Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin is Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is trying to marry somebody after events of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and trying to move on from the death of Gwen Stacy. Who this is completely obvious. That is obviously Mary Jane, because I said Mary Jane earlier in this video. If the Amazing Spider-Man 3 adapts some of the storylines of Andrew Garfield trying to marry Mary Jane from the books and a little bit of Spider-Man the animated series, it'd be really cool. I always wanted to see like the whole marriage storyline to be adapted in an Amazing Spider-Man movie. It's all because it's never been properly adapted at all. I would try to say, like, for, like, the animated series parts, you know, Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin would try to get villains, trying to interrupt Spider-Man's wedding, and Spider-Man has to fight a lot of these villains in his wedding. I know in Spider-Man the animated series, that wasn't Mary Jane because that was a water clone. But, you know, this is gonna be Mary Jane for the Amazing Spider-Man 3 for one of my ideas. All you guys are wondering, how's this ties in with Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I would try to explain, this ties in with Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin, all because he tried to do whatever it takes just to get revenge on Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. The Green Goblin tried to take away Andrew Garfield's happiness would be crazy for the audience for my idea, all because Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin is trying to kill his next lover. I feel like this quote from Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 would fit greatly for my idea of Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin trying to kill Mary Jane and try to do whatever it takes to make Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man bitter and miserable.
And you betrayed me!
No. I was trying to protect you.
Oh. Look at me!
Hey, it's gonna be okay. This is gonna be alright.
You don't give me love. You take it away.
No, Harry.
I'm gonna take away yours.
Adding drama and tension for both of these characters for trying to fight for what they believe in would be really cool for the Amazing Spider-Man 3 if it's done right. I think I don't have anything else to say. It's all because I don't think there's really that much I can say left about Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin and what you need to do to improve him. I don't want to try to make this video too long. If you have any other ideas, guys, you could probably talk about your ideas in the comments below. But this is going to be the end of the video. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more of my content. And see you soon.
It's the easy way out. You think it's hard for you? There are people sick, dying all over the world, some with the same disease, who don't have your money or resources.